It's very similar to cooking at home. I think the big difference in between home and the firehouse is I feel people are hungrier at the firehouse. And also you have to cook in between running calls. At home, like, I don't get interrupted.
I'm Delia Colon, and this is The Zest. Citrus, seafood, Spanish flavor, and Southern charm. The Zest celebrates cuisine and community in the Sunshine State. Today, fueling the front lines. Firefighters are heroes, no doubt about it. And how do we often honor our heroes? By baking for them. There's just one problem. All those well-intentioned cookies and cupcakes we drop off at the fire stations are adding up to less healthy firefighters, which puts all of our lives at risk. That is why Martin Lemay is on a mission to help our heroes stay healthy while enjoying great food. Martin is a firefighter at Northport Fire Rescue, where he also cooks for the crew when he's on duty. He shares his mouth-watering recipes on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, where he's known as the Station Chef. We caught up with Martin on his day off at home in Riverview. In this conversation, he shares why he finds joy and relaxation cooking at home and on the job. I cannot imagine cooking for my family and then going to work and cooking some more, but he loves it and he'll tell us why. He also shares money and calorie-saving advice he learned at the fire station that we can all use. He offers fire safety tips every home cook needs, and he suggests healthier alternatives to show our appreciation to first responders.
My name is Martin Lemay. I'm a firefighter for Northport Fire Rescue in South Florida.
Okay, so I was reading on your Instagram, 75% of firefighters are overweight. What's going on there?
I mean, there's a lot that's going on there. The first thing I would say is most departments have an agility test or a physical ability test to get hired. And then after that, you only need to meet a certain very minimum standard. And so we get tested once a year to a minimum standard, but to start and get hired, that's when you have to be, quote unquote, the fittest. After you get hired, a lot of people kind of dwindle down and get comfortable in the roles, in their position, and they work out less. I don't think it's career specific that people relax. I think it's human nature to get comfortable being comfortable. I think it's just a reflection of the rest of the population. It just so happens that firefighting and first responders, where other people count on you to be fit, I don't think we can allow that.
Yeah. All right. I was checking out some of the meals. Birria tacos, chicken and waffles, mac and cheese. To me, that doesn't necessarily sound healthy, but what are some of your secrets for making it healthier?
So the first thing is let's talk protein first. It's all right. Chicken, we'll use chicken thighs, chicken breasts. Both of them have very similar macros. If you talked mac and cheese in there, we'll swap some of the heavy cream with cottage cheese. Swaps like this, birria tacos, I mean, if you take a lean cut of meat and you put it in and you roast it and you let it cook down, it'll become tender. And then for the tortillas, for the birria tacos, carb balance, carb counter tortillas. So instead of having 200 calories per tortillas, you're looking at 45 to 70. So minor swaps like this will end up making a big difference in an entire meal.
What are some of the other favorite meals that your team members request?
Oh, that's a good one. Shepherd's pie. When I do shepherd's pie, I'll usually put a cauliflower mash on top instead of potatoes. That's a substitute we'll do. Or instead of using a lot of pork, I'll use a little less pork and then 93% lean ground beef instead of 80% lean. So less fat content, more protein content, less caloric also.
Okay, we got to back up. How'd you get into this? What came first, the cooking or the firefighting?
The cooking definitely came first. When I finished high school, I was 17 years old, not knowing what to do, and I went to cooking school. So I went to cooking school. I started a program that's kind of the basics of the kitchen. It was in Montreal, Canada. I did a year of the program. It was supposed to be a 1.5-year program, and then you can go in different specialties. And after a year, I learned a lot of the basics, how to set up my kitchen, the mise en place, the knife skills, how to build basic recipes, how to follow recipes. And after a year, I decided that it was not for me. I was working in hot kitchens from 2 p.m. to 2 a.m., Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I did not want to do that. So I never went back to cooking school. I only did a year and then I quit. And then I never really, I had recipes, I had the basic skills, but not necessarily the desire to eat like that or well. At 18 years old, you're fine with chicken and rice, bland chicken, bland rice, most times of the week, right? And then as I grew up and met my now wife, realized that she was into food, into good food. And so a good way to impress a girl when you meet her is to cook.
Always.
Yes. And so that's definitely a winner. And then from there, we kind of enjoyed cooking at home more, and cooking for her. I love cooking for her. And so that came first. The cooking part came first. And then the firefighting aspect of my life was started in 2020. So when COVID happened.
Just in 2020.
Yeah. So March 2020, everything shuts down. As a contractor, if I don't work, I'm not paid. And so I went for 2-3 months without a job. And my wife had enough of me being at home. And so she said, why don't you look into firefighting? I think it's time for you to do something else. And I looked into it. I enrolled myself in EMT school, emergency medical technician. I did that all online for 3-4 months. After that, I enrolled in the fire academy here at Hillsborough Community College. Took me another 4 months, and then took me 8 months to get hired. And now I work for Northport Fire Rescue in Southwest Florida.
Crazy. How was it determined that you would be the chef on duty?
I don't think it was determined. I think the very first shift I got there, the crew that I was assigned to, foodies. 2 of them absolutely love to cook, and they cook really well. And as my gift for them on the first shift, as people bring donuts, people bring coffee or like little treats, I made a whole brunch. It was a Sunday, it was Super Bowl Sunday, and I brought a whole brunch, put it on the table, and people were impressed by the quality of food, but also how healthy it was compared to some of the other meals that they had. And then when I was there, I often offered to cook because I like it. I like to have my time in the kitchen where it kind of helps me wind down before dinner. And then the word got passed around that I could cook. And so when I would go to another station, to another crew, they're like, oh, Martin's here. That's cool. He can cook for us. So I'm not always designated for the person that cooks. I do take turns sometimes, but a lot of people, when they see me walk in, they're very happy that I'll be there and cook them dinner.
I bet. How does the meal planning work? We talked to another firefighter, and he was saying that like when they go grocery shopping, they actually like go on the fire truck?
Correct. So, we need to be in service at all times, right? So we find a grocery store that's within our service area. Luckily for our station, where I'm stationed right now, we have a Costco and there's a Publix, so we have options. And then we'll go while we're on duty in service. We have our radios, we walk in the Publix, and then we shop just like you would normally shop for yourself in the house.
Wow, that's wild. Okay,
Correct.
So what are some of the biggest differences between what you're doing at the fire station and maybe how I'm cooking dinner at home or how a restaurant chef would operate? What makes a good firehouse chef?
A good firehouse chef, people will give you different things, right? For me, it's what defines a good firehouse chef is someone that makes a dish that's protein forward. So it has to start there, right? Most meals that we plan at the firehouse are thought like protein first. What are we going to do with chicken today? We're going to do with pork or beef. That's how I define a good one to start. And then how do you treat it? How do you season it? What do you serve it with? Do you also cook a gigantic feast, or you cook enough so that people have a plate and a half, and then you can help people not overeat? I think for me that's where the lines, kind of the 2 big differences are. And then third one would be to cook with some sort of a budget or some sort of like costs in mind.
Okay, that sounds similar to what I'm trying to do at home.
Yes, it's very similar to cooking at home. I think the big difference in between home and the firehouse is I feel people are hungrier at the firehouse, right? You work out all day or train, and then people have bigger appetites, I feel. And also you have to cook in between running calls. So if I'm cooking chicken or rice or whatever, and then the tones drop and then we have to go for a call, then you have to put everything on pause or give instructions to someone else that is not privy on what's being cooked tonight. And you have 30 seconds to give him like, can you please do all of this and then leave? So the interruption at the firehouse can be messy for a dish unless it's kind of prepped throughout the day, which obviously at home I don't have that. At home, like, I don't get interrupted.
Right.
Or should not get interrupted.
Wow. Yeah, a literal fire drill.
Yes.
That's wild. So how much time are you spending at the station? If you're on duty, how long are you there?
So we're on duty for 24 hours. Our department works from 8 in the morning to 8 the following morning. Typically, we'll go shop sometimes just before lunch. So you can shop for your personal lunch, and then we'll shop for dinner at the same time. Some crews will go later in the day, but that's what we do. We'll do 8 in the morning to 8 the next morning. It helps me a lot having a plan, a list before I go in the grocery store. And I learned that from the house, but emphasized it when I was cooking at the firehouse. A lot of people walk in and they have no plan, and then you end up doing something that you're familiar with, you know the recipe, but also not necessarily healthy. I like to walk in Publix with a list in mind of knowing exactly what I'm going to cook. It helps me make it cheaper because I've looked at the pantry, I've looked at the fridge. I know what we have, so I know what I need to buy, and then it reduces the cost for everybody. Typically also make it easier to shop.
What are some mistakes we're making at home? Either, well, you just said one, not having a list,
Yep.
or just kind of shopping with whatever looks
Yep.
good. Either in terms of the meal itself or even like food safety, because you must see a lot of like red flags when you go into people's homes.
I mean, at home, I think people can use their pantry a lot better. Everybody has a spice rack. Everybody has some sort of canned goods in their pantry. I think this gets underutilized. So chicken and rice, you can do chicken and rice 100 different ways if you use what you have in your pantry. You happen to have curry paste and coconut milk, then you can do a Thai dish. You happen to have turmeric, then you can do something that maybe a little bit more Middle Eastern. You can change it up. You have chili powder, paprika, garlic powder, onion powder. You can do something that's Southwest. You use basil, parsley, oregano, and now you're in Italy. So by just using different things that you already have, you can change up chicken and rice very easily and have a bunch of different dishes in the same week that are chicken and rice.
Yeah, that's great. Great for the budget too. That's a great
Yes,
tip.
absolutely.
Okay, speaking of your tips, I saw you on social media. You are the station chef. So at what point did you say, you know what, I'm going to start sharing these videos and these tips, and your food looks so good?
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you. So this was actually my wife's idea.
She needs to be here.
I know, she does.
What's her name? We'll give
her
her
name's Kate Price.
Okay.
But she is the backbone behind what we do, behind the station chef.
She's got a lot of good ideas.
She does. Yeah, she's amazing.
Okay, we're kind of emphasizing joy this season,
Yep.
and I want to know what brings you joy about sharing all of this. It's almost like a third job because you're a firefighter, then you're the station chef
Yep.
at the actual station, and then you're the station chef online. So what do you get out of that extra layer of sharing all of this with the public?
I love sharing. I feel like I'm a generous person, caring personality. I like to help people get better. And that started from when, I can relate that to skydiving. When I was skydiving, my goal, I was an instructor. I've been teaching since I was 16 years old. People how to get better in skydiving, in free fall, on how to control the parachute, on how to be good teams, right? And so when I went then taught the military, it was the same thing. It was about helping other people get better at what they need to or what they want to be. And then we just transfer that now to how help people cook, right? A lot of people want to eat good, but they get frustrated because either it takes them too long to prep a meal because they don't have the right technique or the right plan laid out before they start.
Say more about that, because I feel like there are a lot of people who, when they do cook, it takes 3 hours. Yeah. It's very elaborate. It uses all these exotic ingredients. It tastes amazing. And then the rest of the week they're ordering takeout because the bar has been set too high.
Too high, correct. One of the things you learn in cooking school is how to read and follow a recipe. Before the station chef, I never really developed recipes, right? I would just find one online that I liked, kind of followed it, and that's what you learn in cooking school. And then when you start to cook at home, if you're not used to cooking, you're kind of all over the place, or you don't have a plan laid out in mind. And sometimes I do sit down before making an elaborate dinner. I'll write down, like, in order what I can do ahead of time, what needs to be done last minute, and what the timings are. So like laying out a plan, writing it down helps a lot.
Yeah.
I do that mentally now at the firehouse. I know what I can prep ahead of time, put in the fridge. I know what I need to do last minute. And this helps reduce the time in the kitchen, reduce the stress also, but also make it more enjoyable that I'm not spending 3 hours to put a whole meal together.
Right, and using every dish
Yes,
that you own.
That too. But usually if I cook, I don't clean as much. But I'll refer back to cooking school. One of the things you learn is to keep your station clean, and that helps a lot, right? So if you start, you've done a couple of things, you wash them, put them away. Once you're done with some spices or herbs, put them away. That way the kitchen's always clean and it's not messy. There's nothing worse than working in a messy environment.
Mm-hmm. Clean as you go, especially
Yes.
if you might have to go take a call at any moment.
Yes.
Okay, you probably have some bad days. What would you make on a day after maybe a tough call, or maybe a life was lost or something like that? Does that inform what you decide to make, or do you change your plan?
I mean, my gut instinct would be to go for comfort food, but you will also want to stay within the lines of it being healthy. So, I mean, I don't have an example. I'm more like a feel of the day rather than I have this specific dish that I need to make if I have a bad day. If it's a bad day in the winter, I'm going to tell you I'm going to make French onion soup. Yes, that would be like my winter go-to. I don't think I have a summer go-to, but yeah, that would be the one I'd make to like cheer me up on a bad day.
Oh, I like that. Okay, you gave us some mistakes people make in terms of the meal planning. What about in terms of fire safety? Like if you were to go to my house right now, what would you be looking for to make sure everything was on the up and up?
That's a good question. Making sure your exits are open, are free and clear for you to be able to leave the house if an emergency happens. I'll give you an example. We've had houses where there's cupboards in front of the windows in the bedrooms. So what do you do if there's a fire and the fire is in the hallway? You can't get out, right? Because your main exit is blocked, and then your secondary exit, which is your window, is also blocked from a cupboard. So this would be like a good one. Another very, very simple one is to make sure that your smoke detectors are in good orders. You check them every 6 months. So, I mean, a good habit is when you change the time every 6 months in March and November, change your batteries, test them out, reset them. This is a service that most fire department offer. They'll come and check them out for you. They'll change the batteries. That would be another good one. If you have kids, make sure you have, they call it EDITH, exit drill in the house. So play fake fire. All right, kids, you're sleeping. It's 2:00 at night. Fire alarm goes off. What do you do? Where are you going to go? How are you going to exit the house? Once you're out of the house, where do you meet?
Oh,
I know. So like these are like very simple things. Keep your escape routes open. Smoke detectors will detect most fires, right? Most smoke in the house, and then have a plan with your kids. Are you going to go through the front door, the back door? Or, all right, I'm going to go through where there's no fire. That would be my first go-to. And then hop out of the window. I think people forget getting out from the windows. And then once we're out, where do we meet? Where we're going to meet at the next street over. We're going to meet in front of the neighbor's house, and we're going to meet in front of the tree 2 houses down. But if you have a plan, nobody's hectic, everybody knows where to go, and it calms people down.
I got to do that.
And then last one, I would say hoarder conditions.
Say more.
Oh, well, I mean, you have to be able to walk around the house, right? And then if you hoard material, it's also more fuel for the fire, right? So there's so much more material that the fire can light and then make it hotter. The house will burn quicker. So if you don't need it, get rid of it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. This is like a whole life hack. I'm loving this. Any kitchen specific tips, like mistakes people make that start a fire that was just completely unnecessary?
Yes. Water on oil. Never. Right? If there's 3 ways, call it 3 ways you can extinguish a fire. You can cool it down, you can smother it, or you could take the fuel off, right? So if my steak is burning, what can I do? I don't want to put water on it because there's most likely fat and oil in there. That is going to splatter everywhere, and then something else is going to catch on fire. So stay away from water. You could smother it. So if you're using a pan and it's starting to flame up, my go-to is you take the lid or you take a baking sheet and you put it right on top of it, and then you give it some time. That would be my go-to. You could also, there's some blankets that they sell online, fire blankets. If it starts on fire, just cover it. It's basically another way to smother. And I have an extinguisher accessible in the kitchen at all times.
Okay. Oh, this is scary, but it's also, ignorance is not bliss.
Correct.
So it's great to have. Okay.
I'll tell you a story about ignorance is bliss. Before I became a firefighter, I was smoking in the house.
You were smoking meat?
Yeah, we wanted to smoke fish in the house, and so we had kind of a makeshift smoker in the house. It was on board to get it to start smoking, and then got talking. There was 3 of us in the house, and we forgot that this was there, and then it started smoky. It lit up, and then we took it out, and then we panicked. We're like, what do we do? And so it was an aluminum foil kind of makeshift pan, and then started running around in the house, walking over carpets. We barely made it to the back door. An absolute mess. And then in hindsight, I should have put it in the sink, cover it, and it would have been done.
Yeah. No, I've had something catch on fire as well. And
it is intimidating.
You panic in that moment.
It is intimidating.
So it's good to just store this information away. I remember when I was a kid, it was wintertime, and I grew up in Ohio, so we had snow, and our toaster oven got on fire. And my dad opened the deck door and threw it over into the snow.
Well, I mean, that'll cool it.
Yeah, and I can just still remember that flaming toaster flying through the air, but we have other ways. Okay, last question as we wind down here. What do you love about this? Because a lot of the things you're doing, I think we would consider risky or, dangerous. Before you were skydiving, and now you're running into burning buildings. What is it about you?
I mean, I like the aspect of controlled risk. Risk versus reward. I mean, I did 13,000 skydives. I never broken a bone. I never hurt myself. And there's definitely some times where it came close to it, but kind of understanding what you get out of it versus what you put in, or knowing your limits, knowing when to say, yes, this is good, or this is good, but it comes with certain risk, or this is absolutely a no-go, I think is a good comparison in between skydiving and firefighting. You have to understand where the limits are. You have to understand your own capabilities. You can keep pushing your capabilities, but there's a line where you're like, this might be too much, or this might be too dangerous for the reward that we're going to get out of it.
It's good to know where the line is.
Yes.
Okay, so what's for dinner next time you're on duty? I'm
on duty tomorrow. I don't know. I've been thinking about short rib risotto with mushroom risotto. I've been thinking about it. It's a little bit more tedious. It's a little pricier to get the short rib. This has been on my mind recently. Otherwise, it's a feel of the moment. Sometimes I'll try something here the night before. We cook for the social media, and I like it. So then I do it at the station the next day. I have already all laid out, and I have the ingredients. I know how I made it. And kind of just an easy go-to.
Okay, I think you got to do the short rib risotto. I mean, they're going to hear this and be like, we want that dish. Why don't you guys just get groceries delivered?
I mean, we could, but you also have to pay extra for it.
That's true.
Right? So, and it's right there. It's a good way for us to go out in the community, right? You show your face. And then sometimes when at the grocery store, people will say hi and thank you, and you see little kids that want to look at the fire truck. It's a good way to show your face in the community. That's ultimately what we do this job for.
Oh, I love that. Every Christmas Eve, my family makes chocolate chip cookies for the Riverview fire station.
Yep.
I feel like maybe we need to make something a little healthier.
Well, we love sweets. But everybody loves to bring sweets at the fire station, and there's a period where every day I'd walk in to work, and there's always something. There's always sweets that were delivered by sweet people that mean so well, but then it piles up, and bring it back to the 75% of firefighters that are overweight. Every time you go to work, there's Miss So and So brought in a banana pudding, and then Miss So and So brought in chocolate chip cookies, and then Mr. and Miss So and So brought something else. And so this is also part of. It's part of it. People love firefighters. People love to bring them goodies. It's part of it.
I miss so and so. What should I bring instead? Next Christmas, what should we bring instead?
Oh, that's a good question.
Like a fruit basket?
Some of us will sometimes just cut up some watermelon and cantaloupe and pineapples and just eat that. We love it. We love good food, and we'll eat. It's silly to say we'll eat what's in front of us. So you bring a fruit basket or bring a charcuterie board. It is a little bit fattier, but also protein forward. You bring some grapes, some cheese, and some charcuterie. Guys will eat it. A lot of us will just eat it because it's there.
I know.
Yeah. So if you bring something healthier, they'll eat it. Then we'll let it go to waste.
That's so good. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
This was fun.
That was very fun. Thank you.
That's firefighter Martin Lemay of Northport Fire Rescue, better known on social media as the Station Chef. He shared his recipe for high-protein, crispy chicken and waffles, and you can find it on our website, thezestpodcast.com. I'm Dalia Colon. I produce The Zest with Andrew Lucas and Alexandria Ebron. The Zest is a production of WUSF, copyright 2025, part of the NPR network.